Welcome to chapters 36 and 37 of Great Expectations. These chapters are actually pretty short because we're building up to a huge climax in chapters 38 and 39. Chapter 36 is Pip's 21st birthday. It's November, and he inherits 500 pounds from his benefactor right off the bat, and then he'll receive 125 pounds every 3 months until the, quote, fountainhead or benefactor comes and reveals his or her identity. Pip breaks the rules, though, and when he's sitting down with Jaggers and he asks, is my benefactor going to be made known to me today? And Jaggers is rather upset by it and finally cuts him off because, of course, Pip was never supposed to do this. And he says, when that person discloses, you and that person will settle your own affairs. When that person discloses, my part in this business will cease and determine. When that person discloses, it will be necessary for me to know nothing about it, and that's all I've got to say. So for some reason, Jaggers has no connection to Pip like Joe. We've talked about how they're foils. And so as soon as the benefactor, that identity is revealed, Jaggers is going to wash his hands of Pip and move on. He's just been a paid agent through this process. Pip still thinks it's Miss Havisham. He thinks that from that last speech, Miss Havisham, for some reason, has not taken Jaggers into her confidence as for designing me for Estella. So he still thinks that's the master plan. What do you think? Does that seem too obvious? Does it seem unlikely? We will find out very soon. Herbert came of age in March, 8 months prior, and of course he doesn't have a secret benefactor, so he had no excitement on his birthday. So they both have been eagerly waiting for this day. And so what Pip decides to do is to become Herbert's secret benefactor. And he goes to Wemmick to ask his opinion about it. Wemmick says, take a bridge, pick any bridge, and throw your money over it, because that would be more fun than giving money to a friend. This is a hyperbole, of course, but Wemmick is of the impression that you should not invest money in a friend, that it's a terrible business decision. But that's work Wemmick. Home Wemmick has a different opinion. So Pip journeys to Walworth the next day. It's a Sunday, and of course, this becomes a safe haven for Pip. Every time he comes to Walworth, there's a fire. Aged Parent is there snuggling and nodding. And we also find out that Wemmick has a girlfriend, Miss Skiffins. Idiosyncrasy, she wears an orange dress and green gloves, and she serves tea. And she's a regular part of Walworth because she even has a little name tag that comes down off the chimney. We've got Wemmick and Miss Skiffins, and those come down so that when someone is lowering the drawbridge or whatever, it doesn't scare Aged Parent. He's deaf, so you can't just knock on the door. So he has those little pulley systems that Wemmick derived himself. He's a jack of all trades. But Wemmick and Pip go for a little walk around the property, and this is when Wemmick says, you know, I can help you. And Pip explains everything, how he was going to buy Herbert a small partnership. Herbert has this dream of becoming a ship insurer, but he's had no capital. It takes money to make money. And so Pip is going to secretly provide that investment. And Pip says on page 314, I can't help but confide in you, though I know it must be troublesome for you, but it's your fault in forever having brought me here. Wemmick continues to be Pip's metaphorical gardener. He's nurturing Pip and helping him grow into a better person even during the sin stage. And so Wemmick says, well, this is devilish good of you. And he has someone who can do it. Miss Skiffin's brother is an accountant and an agent. And so through someone named Cleriker, they're going to be able to make this work. So they go back inside. Aged Parent has made a bunch of toast, and it's stacked up high. He can barely see over it. Miss Skiffins has poured tea. And Pip stays for a while through the evening, it's around 9 o'clock, and Aged Parent starts reading the newspaper really loud because he's deaf. And Wemmick and Miss Skiffins are snuggling on the couch, and Pip is sitting in a shadowy corner. And Wemmick starts putting the moves on Miss Skiffins. So he drops his jaw, and then he slips an arm around her, and then she puts it back. She's against any sort of public display of affection because they are not married. And this happens a couple of times, and it's quite humorous. And so Pip is under the impression that she's probably going to stay. So he doesn't offer to take her home. He just goes ahead and leaves. And but it's just such a cute relationship. Miss Gibbons is probably in her 40s, and Wemmick, as we found out before, he's in his 50s. So at least he has someone. And it might be hard for Pip to see because things aren't really going well with Estella, and Herbert has Clara as his secret fiance. So Pip's kind of maybe, he's not doing well in the romance department. As the chapter ends, we find out that Pip is going to give half of his money secretly to Herbert. and the business transaction is locked down. And that night he cries in good earnest that his expectations had done some good for somebody. So we're definitely seeing Pip turn the leaf into his redemption stage here at the end of these chapters, the end of this section. And then we have the most amazing cliffhanger. A great event, the turning point of my life, now opens on my view. But before I proceed to narrate it, and before I pass on all the changes it involved, I must give one last chapter to Estella. It's not so much to give to the theme that so long filled my heart. So chapter 38 is a chapter dedicated to Estella. And then chapter 39 is the climax of the novel. Well, the turning point of the novel. All right, thank you.